Welcome to Future Vision Talks, a place where we don't just imagine the future, we seek to understand the pathways that will lead us there. The year 2070 isn't a distant, abstract fantasy. For many children born today, it will be a reality they inhabit. The world they will live in is being forged in the laboratories, research institutions, and theoretical frameworks of our present. Today we embark on a detailed exploration of that world, painting a picture of 2070 not with broad speculative strokes, but with the brush of current scientific progress, extrapolating the trajectories we are already on. We will delve into 15 profound technologies that are poised to redefine the very fabric of human existence, from our bodies and minds to our place in the cosmos. Let's begin with a transformation that strikes at the very core of our physical being. In 2070, human cyborgs are commonplace. The streets are walked by individuals whose bodies are no longer limited by the frailties of biological evolution. This is not about replacing a lost limb. It is about enhancing a healthy one to achieve performance parameters that were once the sole domain of science fiction. Cybernetic limbs, constructed from advanced composites like carbon nanotubes and self-healing alloys, deliver explosive strength, allowing for feats such as lifting the corner of a car or shattering dense materials with controlled impacts. These are not clumsy prosthetics, they are seamless integrations of biology and machine, interfacing directly with the peripheral nervous system through high-fidelity neural interfaces. The signals that once commanded a biological hand to grasp now command a synthetic limb to exert forces measured in tons. The skeletal system is reinforced with materials like graphene-enhanced ceramics and titanium lattices, creating a frame that is nearly indestructible in accidents or combat scenarios. This isn't mere armor. It's a fundamental restructuring of the human chassis. Muscles are augmented not through bulky exoskeletons, but from within, with artificial muscle fibers woven into the biological tissue. These fibers, perhaps made from electroactive polymers or piezoelectric materials, contract with far greater speed and force than their biological counterparts, granting agility and speed that rivals the fastest animals in the natural world. Endurance systems, likely based on advanced cellular energy production or synthetic blood substitutes that carry oxygen with immense efficiency, allow for marathon-like exertion for days without the onset of fatigue. The workers who build our future cities, the first responders who rush into unimaginable disasters, and the pioneers who construct habitats in the zero-gravity environments of space or on other planets will wield these enhancements as standard tools. They will move tons of material by hand, sprint through collapsing structures with the stability of a mountain goat, and leap across lunar plains with the control of a ballet dancer. Soldiers and athletes will train in these augmented bodies, systems that never tire, never break, and react in milliseconds, fundamentally rewriting the established limits of human potential. What was once considered a superpower is becoming an everyday advantage. This evolution forces us to confront a profound philosophical question. What does it mean to be human? In this new era, the definition is fluid as technology and biology merge into a symbiotic form, a new kind of organism, built not just to survive, but to endure, adapt, and excel in every conceivable environment, from the deepest oceans to the vacuum of space. This physical augmentation is only one side of the coin. The other is the extension of our will into the world around us. In 2070, humans are controlling fleets of robots using nothing but their thoughts. This is the ultimate expression of the brain-computer interface, or BCI. A single operator, equipped with a non-invasive or minimally invasive neural link, can guide dozens, even hundreds of machines simultaneously, directing drones, vehicles, and humanoid units as if they were extensions of their own body. The foundational science for this is being developed today. Companies like Neuralink and research institutions worldwide are already demonstrating high-bandwidth communication between the brain and external devices. The key lies in decoding the intricate patterns of electrical activity in the motor cortex, the part of the brain responsible for planning and executing movement. In 2070, this decoding will be so refined that the mere thought of moving a robotic arm to the left results in the instantaneous coordinated movement of an entire swarm of robotic arms. Imagine a construction crew building a skyscraper. The foreman, wearing a Neuralink, doesn't give verbal commands or use a joystick. They simply visualize the structure being built, and a swarm of specialized robots executes that vision with flawless precision, assembling beams, laying smart materials, and welding seams in a complex, synchronized ballet. In disaster zones, the first human on the scene is not a person, but a thought. A first responder guides a fleet of nimble, insect-like rescue bots into the unstable rubble of a collapsed building. Through the feedback provided by the robot's sensors, LiDAR, thermal imaging, microphones, the operator feels the environment. They can sense the heat signature of a survivor, hear the faintest whisper for help, and then guide a bot to deliver life-saving aid, all before it is safe for a human to even enter the area. This technology democratizes expertise. A single farmer, sitting in a control chair, can oversee a vast agricultural empire, directing robotic harvesters, pollination drones, and soil analysis bots. They don't just see data on a screen. They experience a crop sense, a holistic understanding of the farm's health fed directly into their brain through the neural link. This seamless integration between human cognition and robotic action has effectively blurred the line between mind and machine. For many, controlling a fleet of robots no longer feels like operating tools. It feels like expanding the body's reach, granting a kind of telekinesis on an industrial scale. The human mind becomes the command center for a distributed physical presence. If controlling matter with our mind is one revolution, then creating it from nothing is another. In 2070, replicator machines are mainstream. Once an experimental concept confined to laboratories, these devices now shape daily life, revolutionizing how we obtain goods and manage resources. The principle behind these replicators is advanced additive manufacturing, but taken to a molecular and even atomic level. Think of it as the ultimate evolution of 3D printing. It likely combines technologies like molecular assemblers guided by artificial intelligence and raw material feedstocks, often referred to as programmable matter or simple elemental blocks. In the kitchen, the concept of a supermarket trip for groceries becomes archaic. A family's replicator creates fresh, nutritious meals from digital molecular blueprints. It can produce everything from a perfectly seared steak, assembled from its core components of amino acids, lipids, and water, to a rare, out-of-season fruit, replicating its exact texture and flavor profile. A parent can print a child's favorite snack in seconds, while a dinner party host can conjure an elaborate, multi-course feast from a dozen different global cuisines without ever lighting a stove. The impact on healthcare is nothing short of revolutionary. Hospitals and clinics replicate life-saving medicines on demand, eliminating supply chain shortages and the problem of drug counterfeiting. But it goes much further. The replicator can print functional organs for transplant. Using a patient's own cellular data as a blueprint, it can assemble a new heart, kidney, or liver layer by layer, with perfect biological compatibility, ending the agonizing wait for an organ donor. In remote communities, from Arctic villages to research stations in the Andes, these devices print medical supplies, diagnostic tools, and even complex surgical instruments as easily as we now access clean water, effectively closing the gap between rural and urban healthcare access. This technology also heralds the end of the disposable society. Everyday objects, clothing, furniture, tools, are printed on demand from a home unit. When an item is no longer needed or is broken, it is simply placed back into the replicator, broken down into its raw material feedstock, and ready to be reassembled into something new. This closed-loop circular economy has nearly erased the concept of waste. For education and creativity, the possibilities are boundless. Students can design and print custom scientific instruments, historical artifacts for hands-on study, or complex molecular models. Artists can create sculptures from materials previously impossible to work with by hand, or design dynamic art that can change its form. With replicators in homes, workplaces, and public hubs, the age-old problem of scarcity has been all but vanquished. For the citizens of 2070, this technology feels less like an innovation and more like a fundamental force of civilization, a machine that turns information and imagination into physical reality. Our interaction with technology will also become far more intimate, woven into the very clothes we wear. In 2070, nanotech suits are becoming mainstream. These are not simply garments with embedded electronics. They are dynamic second skins, each comprised of billions of programmable nanobots, microscopic robots that can rearrange themselves in real time, adapting to the wearer's every need. In daily life, the concept of a wardrobe is simplified. A single business suit can transform into casual wear by shifting its texture, color, and cut at a mental command. Built-in climate control, managed by nanobots that modulate their density to trap or release heat, keeps the wearer perfectly comfortable whether they are in a blizzard or a heat wave. For professionals, these suits are transformative. A firefighter suit can sense extreme heat and instantly reconfigure, creating a layer of reflective aerogel-like insulation that hardens against the inferno. A construction worker's suit can provide exoskeleton-like strength, its nanobots locking into a rigid matrix to assist in lifting massive loads, then dissolving back into a flexible fabric when the task is complete. Astronauts depend on these suits for more than just life support. The nanobots provide active radiation shielding by creating a magnetic field or absorbing harmful particles, recycle oxygen and water with incredible efficiency, and can perform seamless self-repairs on micropunctures during a spacewalk. The medical applications are equally profound. These suits act as continuous health monitors, tracking vital signs, blood chemistry, and even hormonal levels. If an anomaly is detected, they can release targeted nanomedicine, drugs, or genetic therapies transdermally directly to the affected area. In an emergency, the suit can stiffen instantaneously to act as a full-body cast, or apply precise pressure to a wound. Athletes and adventurers push beyond previous limits with suits that adapt muscle support, provide intelligent cushioning for joints, and even synthesize and release hydration or nutritional supplements through the skin mid-activity. In entertainment, nanotech suits are the ultimate tool for immersion, reshaping for cosplay, theatrical performances, or virtual reality, allowing the wearer to physically feel the armor of a knight or the scales of a dragon. With self-cleaning, self-repairing, and infinite adaptability, nanotech suits are more than clothing. They are living, responsive extensions of the human body, a personalized environment tailored perfectly to every situation life can present. While we reshape ourselves, our relentless curiosity drives us to probe the deepest secrets of the universe. In 2070, a new Mega Hadron Collider has become operational. Its activation represents a milestone in physics, a testament to humanity's insatiable drive to understand the fundamental laws of reality. This machine, stretching hundreds of kilometers underground, perhaps circling an entire region or even built in space to avoid geological constraints, smashes particles together at energies that dwarf those of its 21st century predecessors, like the Large Hadron Collider. It recreates conditions that existed a tiny fraction of a second after the Big Bang, allowing us to peer into the very dawn of time and space. Scientists now directly observe exotic particles that were only theoretical ghosts for decades. The discovery of the graviton, the hypothetical quantum of gravity, might be within reach, potentially unifying Einstein's theory of general relativity with the quantum world. Entire new families of matter, new states of existence are emerging from the data, forcing a complete rewrite of the standard model of particle physics. Some experiments probe the existence of hidden dimensions, as predicted by string theory, while others search for definitive evidence of dark matter and dark energy, the mysterious, invisible components that together make up over 95% of the universe and dictate its ultimate fate. The practical fallout from this pure research is immense. The intense study of quark-gluon plasma and other exotic states of matter leads to breakthroughs in material science, giving rise to room-temperature superconductors and new quantum materials. Insights into particle decay and energy states inspire novel approaches to cancer treatment, such as hyper-precise proton therapy, and unlock new paradigms for clean, sustainable fusion energy. The collider itself becomes a global cultural symbol, a cathedral of science. Tourists flock to visitor centers not to see the machine itself, but to experience real-time data visualizations and immersive simulations of the discoveries being made, marveling at humanity's ability to peer deeper into the fabric of existence than ever before. The Mega Collider is not just a machine. It is a bridge to understanding the very code of the cosmos. Our exploration doesn't stop at the outer universe. It turns intensely inward to the landscape of our own minds. In 2070, brain apps allow people to relive their memories with perfect clarity. This technology is the culmination of connectomics, the mapping of the brain's neural connections, and advanced neuroimaging. People can now step back into their own past with a level of sensory and emotional detail once thought impossible. Brain apps work by reading the complex engram patterns, the physical traces of a memory, stored in the hippocampus and cortex. They then recreate these memories inside fully immersive virtual environments. A person can revisit their childhood home not as a hazy recollection, but as a perfect simulation, hearing the specific creak of the floorboards, smelling the scent of their mother's cooking, and feeling the exact emotion of a long-forgotten birthday. They can hear the voice of a departed loved one with perfect fidelity, or relive a pivotal conversation with every nuance intact. This technology goes beyond simple playback. It enters the realm of experiential learning and therapy. Users can choose to make different choices within the memory and observe through sophisticated AI-driven simulation how alternate outcomes might have unfolded. A person can test what would have happened if they had spoken up in a meeting or chosen a different career path. These branching path simulations provide invaluable lessons for real-world decision-making. Therapeutically, it is transformative. Individuals suffering from PTSD can relive traumatic events in perfectly controlled, safe conditions. Guided by a therapist, they can gradually rewrite their emotional response to the memory or detach the painful emotions from the event itself, a process known as reconsolidation, making healing more accessible and profound than ever before. Families can gather to revisit shared milestones, weddings, graduations, holidays, almost as if time travel has become a common household activity. Memories are no longer fragile, fading fragments. They have become living spaces, editable and explorable. They are teaching tools, sources of comfort, and a new medium for art and storytelling, fundamentally reshaping how humanity engages with its own past. As we reach beyond our planet, this cognitive technology becomes a lifeline. In 2070, astronauts depend on AI companions during long missions to Mars, the asteroid belt, and beyond. These AI entities are far more than voice-activated assistants like Siri or Alexa. They are sophisticated partners, designed with adaptive personalities that cater to each crew member's psychological and operational needs. On a mission lasting years, where the Earth is a pale blue dot and communication delays can be hours long, isolation and loneliness are significant threats. The AI companion is the antidote. It can engage in meaningful conversation, tell stories, play games, and even use humor tailored to the astronaut's personality, easing the immense mental toll of deep space travel. Operationally,
These AIs are the central nervous system of the spacecraft. They manage the labyrinthian ship systems, constantly monitor life support for the slightest anomaly, and anticipate problems. A slight pressure drop in a coolant line, a minor deviation in trajectory, long before human crew members would notice. They run continuous diagnostics, adjust energy distribution for maximum efficiency, and coordinate maintenance tasks with the ship's robotic arms, freeing the astronauts to focus on scientific exploration and their mission objectives. During emergencies, the AI companion is the first and fastest responder. It can instantly seal compromised sections of the ship, recalculate complex navigational trajectories to avoid debris fields, and guide astronauts through intricate repair procedures with augmented reality overlays. In a medical crisis, the AI acts as an expert diagnostician and surgeon, controlling sophisticated surgical robots with a precision no human hand could match in microgravity. For training and research, the AI is an invaluable partner. It can run high-fidelity simulations of planetary landings, test scientific hypotheses against vast databases of known information in real time, and help astronauts adapt their exploration strategies for utterly alien environments. Some companions are even programmed to generate music, create art, or craft bespoke virtual reality environments, ensuring that the spark of human creativity remains alive in the profound void of space. For these interplanetary voyagers, the AI companion feels less like a machine and more like a trusted crew member, a vital, intelligent ally on humanity's longest and most perilous journeys away from our homeworld. Back on Earth, the march of technology is creating new paradigms of health and, with it, new forms of social stratification. In 2070, personal health pods are commonplace for the upper class. These sleek, capsule-like devices transform private homes into futuristic medical suites that would be the envy of today's best hospitals. For the wealthy, these pods are the ultimate status symbol, a tangible manifestation of their ability to command the power of life itself. Every morning, an individual steps into their pod for a full-body scan that goes far beyond MRI or CT technology. It likely uses quantum sensors or hyperspectral imaging to check for cellular senescence, the earliest signs of genetic mutations, and molecular markers for diseases like cancer or neurodegeneration, decades before any symptoms would ever appear. This is the era of true predictive and preventative medicine. But the pods are more than just diagnostic tools. They are active treatment centers. Using targeted nanotech, they can administer therapies with cellular precision. A person showing early signs of muscle atrophy receives microdoses of growth factors and nutrient cocktails. Someone recovering from a minor procedure has their tissues regenerated through precision biostimulation, such as focused ultrasound or light therapy that triggers stem cell differentiation. Some advanced pods can even 3D print replacement tissues or minor organs on site, drastically reducing the need for hospital visits. The wellness and cosmetic industries have been fully integrated. The pods optimize sleep cycles by regulating melatonin and other neurotransmitters, fine-tune hormone levels for peak daily performance, and even edit stress responses at a biochemical level to keep users perpetually calm and energized. Cosmetic enhancements, from skin rejuvenation to hair restoration, are handled in the same session as critical health monitoring. For the wealthy elite, these pods are, in effect, life extension chambers. While critics rightly argue that this technology dangerously deepens inequality in healthcare access, creating a biological divide between the enhanced and the natural, for those who can afford them, health feels nearly invincible. Every potential illness is addressed before it begins, and the aging process itself is slowed to a manageable crawl. The economic engine of this future is no longer confined to our planet. In 2070, asteroid mining is making companies trillions of dollars. The asteroids, once seen as barren, pockmarked rocks, are now the richest mines humanity has ever known. Robotic fleets, controlled by operators back on Earth or in orbiting stations, harvest precious metals and rare elements from these floating mountains of ore. A single metallic asteroid, like Psyche, is estimated to contain enough iron and nickel to satisfy global demand for millions of years. But its true value is in the platinum group metals, gold, cobalt, and rare earth elements that are crucial for advanced electronics. Payloads worth more than the GDP of entire nations are being delivered to orbital refineries, reshaping global markets and economies. These off-world mining companies operate massive automated processing plants in space. There, raw asteroid material is refined using solar furnaces or centrifugal separation in microgravity. The purified metals and materials are then used to build satellites, space stations, and interplanetary spacecraft directly in orbit, bypassing the immense cost of launching them from Earth's gravity well. This not only fuels the space economy, but also spares our planet's fragile ecosystems from the destructive impact of terrestrial mining, and lowers the geopolitical tensions that have long surrounded scarce resources. The wealth generated from this cosmic gold rush trickles down to everyday life in surprising ways. The components for smartphones, electric vehicle batteries, and quantum computers become radically cheaper and more accessible as the once rare elements flood the supply chain. New industries and megacities arise, funded by the trillion-dollar profits of the great space corporations. Private spaceports buzz with constant activity, launching the next wave of robotic prospectors and miners. The competition is fierce, a new Wild West in the asteroid belt, with corporations and perhaps even nations racing to stake claims on the most mineral-rich bodies. For the first time in human history, the greatest fortunes are not being made on the surface of the Earth, but in the silent, airless, and incredibly lucrative corridors of the asteroid belt.
Perhaps one of the most profound shifts in 2070 is a philosophical one, born from a technological breakthrough. Humans can communicate with most animal species. The age-old barrier between Homo sapiens and the rest of the animal kingdom has finally dissolved, opening channels of understanding we could once only dream of. This is achieved through a combination of advanced AI translation systems and sophisticated biocompatible implants or wearables for the animals. The AI does not simply translate barks or chirps into human words, it decodes the complex multimodal communication of animals, their vocalizations, body language, scent markers, and even electrophysiological signals into a coherent semantic stream. Conversely, it can translate human language and intent into signals that animals can intuitively understand, perhaps through modulated sounds, light patterns, or direct neural stimulation. The implications are staggering. Farmers can have direct conversations with their livestock, asking about their health, dietary preferences, or sources of stress, leading to unprecedented levels of animal welfare and agricultural efficiency. Pet owners can finally understand their companions on a deep level. A dog can express not just, "I'm hungry," but complex emotions like, "I'm anxious when you leave because I fear you won't return." Or a cat can articulate its precise preferences for play and affection. Wildlife conservation has been utterly transformed. Elephants can describe their ancient migration routes and the obstacles human development has placed upon them. Dolphins can provide detailed reports on the health of ocean ecosystems, pollution levels, and fish stocks. Bees can warn of pesticides or environmental imbalances affecting their colonies. In scientific research, we are no longer merely observing animals, we are collaborating with them as sentient partners. Primates can contribute their unique problem-solving insights to complex tasks. Crows can teach us about the nuances of tool use and social learning. And whales can share their navigational knowledge of the deep seas, knowledge accumulated over millions of years. For everyday people, this technology fosters a profound sense of connection with the living world. Zoos have become cultural centers for interspecies storytelling, and families bond with their pets in ways previously unimaginable. While the idea once belonged firmly to science fiction, communication with other species is now part of daily life, reshaping our relationship with the biosphere and granting humanity a humbling, profound sense of its place within, not above, the web of life. Our quest for knowledge continues to reach for the most enigmatic objects in the cosmos. In 2070, AI can accurately predict the interiors of black holes. This represents a monumental leap in theoretical physics and computational power, revealing what was once thought to be forever hidden behind the event horizon, the point of no return. These AI systems are not making wild guesses. They are running impossibly complex quantum simulations and solving refined versions of Einstein's field equations that incorporate quantum gravity. They map the unimaginable conditions inside a black hole, where space and time twist into singularities and matter is crushed into states beyond human intuition. Astronomers and physicists no longer study black holes solely from their external effects on light and nearby stars. They can now visualize their interiors with high-fidelity models like explorers charting an unknown continent. Entire virtual reconstructions allow scientists and students to walk through the crushing gravity wells and the swirling superheated plasma of the accretion disk, gaining unprecedented insights into the nature of singularities, the possible existence of wormholes, and the bridges to other universes predicted by theories like ER equals EPR. These predictions are not just academic exercises, they have tangible fallout. The study of physics under such extreme conditions unlocks new breakthroughs in energy. Our understanding of fusion power is refined by models of how matter behaves under immense pressure and temperature. The principles of quantum entanglement and space-time geometry, learned from these simulations, lead to more stable and powerful quantum computers. Engineers adopt these insights to create new materials that can resist extreme pressure and heat, with applications from deep Earth drilling to spacecraft shielding. Public fascination with the cosmos is reignited. Museums and planetariums offer fully immersive VR journeys into the heart of a black hole, allowing people to experience what no human body could ever survive. For the first time, humanity is not just imagining, but beginning to truly comprehend what lies beyond the veil of the universe's most mysterious objects, transforming black holes from terrifying enigmas into the ultimate laboratories for cosmic discovery.
The technology that allows us to peer into black holes also enables us to build our world in astonishing new ways. In 2070, buildings are able to assemble themselves using nanotechnology. Construction has been transformed from a noisy, slow, and labor-intensive process into something that appears almost magical. The cornerstone of this revolution is programmable matter. Vast swarms of microscopic, specialized nanobots, often called catoms or claytronic atoms. These nanobots, working in concert like a superorganism, can assemble steel, glass, concrete, and composites with molecular precision. A skyscraper no longer requires cranes and teams of workers over years. It can rise from a foundation in a matter of days, even hours, as the nanobot swarm assembles the structure layer by layer, weaving wiring, plumbing, and insulation directly into the fabric of the building as it grows. For homeowners, this means a new era of dynamic, responsive architecture. A family can instruct their house to grow an extra bedroom, merge the living room and kitchen into a larger entertainment space, or repair damage from a storm overnight. Walls can reconfigure themselves, surfaces can renew their finish to look brand new, and furniture can be summoned from the very floor and walls, shifting shape to fit different needs. On a citywide scale, the benefits are immense. Infrastructure becomes self-healing. Roads automatically repair cracks and potholes. Bridges strengthen themselves in response to increased load or stress. And public housing can expand or contract to match population shifts in real time. Disaster relief is revolutionized. After an earthquake or flood, entire communities can be rebuilt within days as swarms of nanobots are deployed to clear debris and reassemble homes and essential buildings. And this technology is not confined to Earth. On Mars and the Moon, nanobot swarms are deployed ahead of human missions, using local regolith as feedstock to 3D print habitable domes, radiation shields, and entire base complexes, ensuring a safe, ready-made environment for the first pioneers upon their arrival. Construction in 2070 is no longer a disruptive project with a defined end. It is a living, adaptive, and continuous process that keeps perfect pace with the fluid nature of human imagination and need. This power to shape our external world is matched by a controversial and ethically fraught power to probe our internal one. In 2070, law enforcement agencies are scanning brains to reveal crimes. The legal system has been fundamentally altered by the advent of sophisticated, court-admitted neural scanners. Police investigations no longer rely solely on fallible witness accounts, circumstantial evidence, or camera footage. These devices allow law enforcement to peer directly into the human mind, retrieving memories, intentions, and emotional imprints associated with criminal acts. A suspect brought in for questioning can have their relevant memories played back as holographic reconstructions, showing events not as they are later narrated or misremembered, but as they were originally perceived and encoded. In the courtroom, this technology is reshaping the very concept of evidence and truth. Juries no longer have to debate the credibility of conflicting testimonies when they can witness the exact recollections of the victim, the witness, or even the accused projected before them. Victims of crime, with their full and informed consent, can have their memories of the event carefully extracted to build an incontrovertible case. Cold cases, decades old, are being solved as old suspects or witnesses undergo voluntary or court-ordered brain reviews that reveal forgotten, suppressed, or deliberately concealed details. Everyday policing has been transformed. Border security personnel scan for concealed criminal intent in travelers' minds, and probation checks often include quick mental scans for evidence of repeated criminal planning. The proponents of this technology point to a dramatic, unprecedented plummet in crime rates, arguing that the fear of being mentally exposed is a more powerful deterrent than any prison sentence. However, critics raise alarms of a dystopian erosion of privacy, the creation of a thought police, and the terrifying potential for a world where an individual's innermost mind is no longer their own sanctuary. This technology forces society to confront one of its most profound ethical dilemmas: the delicate and precarious balance between absolute safety and the sacred, inviolable sanctity of the private self. The line between justice and total surveillance has become perilously thin. If controlling space is one frontier, then mastering time is the next. In 2070, personal time dilation devices are gaining popularity. This is not time travel in the science fiction sense of going back to the past or leaping to the future. It is the localized manipulation of an individual's subjective experience of time, a concept rooted in Einstein's theory of relativity. These devices, perhaps worn as wristbands or small implants, create a localized field or directly stimulate the brain to alter its perception of time's flow. With a simple mental command, an office worker can effectively slow down their own perception of time, stretching a single, stressful hour into what feels like an entire leisurely afternoon of productivity. Students preparing for crucial exams can review months of material in what seems like days, while only minutes pass in real life. Athletes use these devices to train their reflexes, practicing complex maneuvers for what feels like weeks in an accelerated mental state, before returning to normal time, their minds and bodies conditioned to react with superhuman speed. Artists, writers, and musicians spend what feels like years perfecting a symphony, a novel, or a painting, and yet can release their magnum opus to the world within a matter of days. The technology also changes the nature of human relationships and leisure. A couple can pause the frantic rush of daily life to savor a single, intimate moment, turning a few seconds of a sunset into hours of shared, timeless experience. However, this power is not without its perils. Some individuals may escape into prolonged personal retreats, compressing the stresses of real life into manageable bursts and becoming addicted to their own private timelines. Regulators fiercely debate limits on usage, concerned about societal fragmentation economic disruption, and the psychological impact of living out of sync with the natural rhythm of the world. Yet for its advocates, this technology represents the ultimate form of human freedom, mastery over the one dimension, time, that has always been an implacable master of us all.
Finally, as we look at where and how we live, we find that our cities are expanding in a new direction. Down. In 2070, underground living facilities are commonplace. Urban centers no longer expand only upward into skyscrapers. They stretch deep downward into vast, multi-layered subterranean complexes that are anything but dark and claustrophobic. Entire neighborhoods, complete with parks, schools, shopping centers, and high-speed transit systems, exist beneath the surface, engineered for resilience and comfort. These facilities provide a perfect shield from the increasing threats of the surface world: extreme weather events, solar radiation, pandemics, and even the potential conflicts of a crowded planet. Families live in spacious, comfortable apartments that open onto green corridors and expansive plazas. These underground spaces are lit by advanced, full-spectrum bioluminescent panels and synthetic skylights that perfectly mimic the natural progression of daylight, regulating circadian rhythms and preventing the disorientation of a sunless existence. Vertical farms, integrated into the walls of these caverns, produce fresh food year-round using highly efficient hydroponics and aeroponics with minimal land and water use. Geothermal energy, tapped directly from the Earth's crust, provides a limitless, clean power source, while deep aquifers ensure a secure water supply. In regions prone to hurricanes, flooding, or extreme temperatures, underground living has become the standard for security and comfort. Coastal cities, threatened by rising sea levels, have relocated critical infrastructure and populations below ground. Desert nations thrive in these cool, stable, subterranean environments. Even cultural life has adapted and flourished. Concert halls and theaters, carved into natural rock formations, boast perfect resonant acoustics. Art galleries and museums offer unique contemplative atmospheres that surface venues cannot replicate. While there will always be those who prefer the open sky and the feel of the wind, millions now find profound comfort, safety, and community in the stable, resilient embrace of the subterranean world. What began as a necessity for survival in a changing world has evolved into a sophisticated, desirable, and sustainable new way of life, proving that humanity's destiny is not only written in the stars, but also in the very ground beneath our feet. This has been Future Vision Talks. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of 2070. Remember, the future is not a destination we arrive at passively. It is a landscape we actively build, with every discovery, every ethical choice, and every leap of imagination we make today. Until next time, keep looking forward.